like I said, I can't. I broke the ceiling fan. I can't shut it off.
Yeah, I got you on that. We got to work on the stands. We got to get a better angle at you. We're staring at your underside of your neck.
My neck is hot.
It might be temperature hot.
Yeah.
The ladies love my neck.
You know we're recording right now, right?
I hope so.
So you just exclaimed all the ladies love your neck.
They do. I got a quick early NBA scout for you.
Go right ahead.
Sixers are around halftime. We're up 20 on the Celtics. The new look Sixers are looking good.
Don't get too comfortable with the look of those Sixers. They might be changing soon.
Nah. I mean, after this, why trade?
Man, it's one preseason.
It's a preseason game.
Yeah, it's one
They look good,
preseason
though.
game.
They look good.
No, I'm sure they do. They're up. I'm seeing it right now. They're up 10 with about 4 minutes left to go in the third. But don't get too comfortable with your current squad. They might be switching up, and your boy James Harden, the beard, might be coming to Philly. Dude, you're shaking your head. You're not feeling it.
There's only one beard on this show, and it's mine.
No, I will give you one thing though. At least you're not feeling getting Harden in Philadelphia, but you'd be giving up a bona fide star to get him. You'd be giving up Ben Simmons. Their overall that's who they want at least.
And 3 first-round picks. Fuck that.
Well,
fuck that.
It's a lot, but at least I was saying you'd be giving up a star. Miami apparently is being held up for Tyler Hero.
Oh my God!
For anyone outside of South Florida, that's baffling. I mean, you might like the kid.
The Heat fans think he's a superstar. They were saying,
he's untouchable in Miami.
They were sending stat comparisons of Tyler Hero, what he did in his rookie year, and Jordan and shit like this. Like, come on, man.
We've talked about Incarcerated Bob on here before. Incarcerated Bob calls
shout out to Bob.
Shout out to Incarcerated Bob. Called Tyler Hero Kuzma East. The kid had a couple of good games. That's it. He had a couple of
that's a good comparison.
Game. Absolutely. Dude comes off the bench, come and light it up a little bit. But he's not anyone that you would hold up a trade for a former MVP and a bona fide all-star.
And even trying to get lathered up, kids.
And even just in comparison to Kuzma, as much as I'm not a fan of Kuzma, I would still take Kuzma over him because he's 6'10", so he can shoot over a closeout much easier than Tyler Hero could. And because he's 6'10", even though he sucks at defense too, he's a little bit less of a liability.
And he has Kuzma's old lady. Like, Kuzma got rid of Katya Elise Henry, was like, nah, I don't want you no more. And then Hero comes in scooping up the sloppy seconds.
I won't have no disrespect of Katya on this program.
She lost all credibility when she went with 19-year-old Tyler Hero. He can't even get in any clubs in Miami.
He honestly doesn't even look like he's even hit puberty yet. I'm surprised.
The dude's a multimillionaire. You can't blame him for that.
He was a 15th overall pick.
There's other
millionaires. I don't know about multi.
And there's other multimillionaires too.
Yeah, she's in Miami. All right, literally, she's in Miami. Miami. Tyler Hero's the best you can do? Something wrong with her.
He's a multimillionaire that plays on TV every night.
She's got access. She's got access to much better multimillionaires in Miami. Even Kodak Black would be better than freaking Tyler Hero.
For regular people, Tyler Hero would be great, but she's not regular girls.
Yeah,
Reek, look it up. What does the 15th overall pick in the NBA get paid?
Actually, we can look at Tyler Hero's actual. Pull up Tyler Hero's actual contract.
So right now,
I figured somewhere contract's probably somewhere in the $2 million range. So after taxes, he's taking home $875.
That's it.
Yeah, he's a 15th overall pick.
Yeah, so as a 15th overall pick, he signed a 3-year, $11.46 million contract. Right, so it's an average annual salary of $3.82.
$11 million more than she'll ever have.
Actually, she's worth more money than he is. She's got 1.5 million followers on Instagram and's got all these endorsement deals for Bang Energy and all kinds of other stuff. So she makes more money than he does. Harden would make more money than her. I doubt
she's making $2-3 million a year.
I think you're misunderstanding what these promotional ladies on Instagram get paid. She's worth well over a couple of $1 million.
Influencers.
Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. So her net worth, just because we're
$3 million. It's $3 million. I just looked it up.
Her net worth is $3 million. All right. for nothing.
That's still good for being a hoe on the internet. Like,
Yeah,
Whoa,
she-
whoa, whoa,
really
whoa, whoa, whoa!
that's really good. Hey, there's
No
nothing wrong with it.
No
That's not
disrespect for Katya.
That's not disrespect at all, dude. If I looked like her and I had no other skills in life, I'd be a hoe on the internet too. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just calling a spade a spade. Because I know a lot of beautiful girls that don't have OnlyFans because they have other reputable skills that they can exploit and make money off of. But there's nothing wrong with that. Pay your bills, man. I would do the same shit.
Yeah, get your bag however you
Hell
can
yeah,
get your bag.
get your bag.
All I'm saying is in Miami, one of the most popular cities in the world where rich people congregate, she can probably do a little better than Tyler. To put it this way, she won't be with Tyler Hero by the time the NBA playoffs roll around.
Yeah, no. Yeah, once we get more stats on him, she's gonna be ditching him.
Yeah, once she gets a little bit more film on him, she's gonna move on from Tyler Hero. But the NBA, it's funny you brought up the NBA and you wanted to give a little bit of analysis there. You know that Reek and I are NBA junkies, and I have been watching as much NBA as I possibly can over the last few days here. First the Knicks were back on, and secondly, the NBA ticket is one of the best one of the best things that any league puts out there. Having all the games it does, it's solid. So checking out early games here. Your boy Edwards. I haven't changed any thoughts on him yet. I know it's 2 games in, so this is really early.
Yeah, what did you just tell me? It's preseason.
Yeah, but that's what I was going to say. It's really early predictions. I'm not feeling Edwards still.
You weren't feeling him before anyway, so your mind's not going to change.
He hasn't changed anything in my mind. I tell you, somebody that did change something in my mind. Me and you texted me the other day. I thought LaMelo was the one that could shoot. None of the balls can shoot. So LaMelo, slick handle, we don't even talk about.
But all the Currys can shoot, and we got a Curry now.
I'm from Trinidad. You know I love Curry. We have talked about the balls, right? So there's really only, just like on a man, only 2 balls that count. LiAngelo, the 3rd ball, we're not even going to talk about him anymore. He got cut by the
business days.
He was the middle.
Days.
He was the middle ball, though, wasn't he?
He's the older. I thought he was the older.
No. He's the middle. Lonzo's the oldest.
Oh.
He's the middle. He's the one that had to get pardoned out of Chinese prison because he decided to steal sunglasses, even though his brother was the 2nd overall pick in the NBA.
Yeah.
Complete idiot. Complete idiot. The least talented of the 3 Ball brothers. But LaMelo was supposed to be able to shoot. I've watched 2 games of Charlotte, and it's not that the ball's not going in, because sometimes just the ball doesn't go in, whatever. His form is ugly. He does this
terrible.
His feet are real close together. He does.
Because I remember you guys were telling me
he does his tiny little hop.
Number 1 pick over Edwards.
Now he still may still have
he's
a better
garbage.
career. He's no. I said he can't shoot.
I didn't say he was garbage.
That's
I didn't say he was garbage.
Skill in the NBA.
He can't shoot. He's an awesome distributor of the ball. He's 6'9".
Is an important skill.
Agreed. He's 6'9". He dribbles the ball like he's a 6'2" guard. He's an excellent passer. He's a great rebounder. He just can't shoot. Now he loves to play the game, something that your boy Edwards does not. So the shooting may come, but oh my God, those horse games in the driveway for the ball family must have taken hours and hours and hours. None of them can shoot. None of them.
That's why they're all good
Absolutely
rebounders.
insane. It's absolutely insane. But you can be a good rebounder and still be able to shoot. Kevin Garnett was money from 18 feet. You just have to, it's baffling to me how you can play basketball every single day of your life. You got a ball in your hand all the time, and you can't shoot. Your form's not even anywhere close to looking like a decent shot. The Currys, you brought them up, all of them have excellent form. The elbow ends, the ball's released at a high point. It's starting from the right spot. None of the balls are that. So unless he retools his jump shot, their ceilings are coming down a bit. They just can't shoot.
Well, there's a couple things there. Number one, the Currys grew up looking at one of the best shooters ever. Their pops was out there shooting with him, so they're trying to copy his form, and he was
but LeVar never
best ever.
LeVar can't shoot.
LeVar never lost though, so you got that going for him.
Well, here's the thing: is LeVar was probably telling them since they were 4 or 5 years old how good they were, so they never thought they had to get any better, so they never worked on the shooting form.
They're also playing ball out in Chino Hills. They had the 3 of them and Precious Achua, the guy on the Heat. They were all on the same high school basketball team. So you're all
so they were probably killing people.
Destroying people. LiAngelo had a 70-point game. LaMelo had a 70 or 80-point game. And he has YouTube videos of him pulling up from half court and knocking down shots. But you can shoot a 50 of those and edit it down to 2 makes. But it's baffling. It really is baffling. They can't shoot. The form is ugly. But he'll stay in the NBA because he's 6'9" and he can move. But the shooting is it. I don't understand how you can play basketball every day and never improve your jump shot whatsoever. The guy in New York, though, the most NBA-ready player in the entire draft this year.
Because he's 27 years old.
He is 22 years old, and 22 – the last time we drafted a 22-year-old, his name was Patrick Ewing. It actually worked out pretty well for us. So we can keep drafting 19-year-old kids. If they suck, they're going to suck. Give me the guys a little bit older that actually looks like he's, his body's ready, his jump shot is ready, and he's got some moves around the basket. I'll give you one last tidbit here. Your boy Cole Anthony will have a better rookie year than Edwards.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know why. I understand why Reek hates Cole Anthony because it's a North Carolina bias. Why you hate him? I know you didn't like his hair, but other than that, why you hate Cole Anthony?
He just doesn't impress me. Like ever since they said he was going to be like a top 5 pick in the draft, and then I started watching the games when he was at North Carolina, he never did anything for me to be like, wow, this dude's nasty.
Played on one leg.
No,
never, ever.
Like seriously, like even before he got hurt, like in those first 4 games where he went off, like I'm not even like trying to be biased about it. I didn't see something that he could consistently do in the NBA.
One leg. He played on one leg.
The entire season, even those first 4 games where he went off, he was on one leg.
Well, no, but dude, he broke the record for the most points of a UNC freshman in his first game. He hurt his leg in like game 3. Then he got he busted his eye. He had 6 stitches above his left eye that he actually went in at halftime, got stitched up, couldn't see out of that eye. It was completely blurred up, and finished that game. They actually came back and won that game in the second half.
So you're telling me he can get hurt?
Well, if you want to talk about,
he has the ability to get hurt. Now I'm impressed.
I mean, is he better than Joel Berry? Yes, he's way better than Joel Berry.
Being 6'4" helps.
Yeah,
he's also going to have a better rookie year and career than James Edwards.
Career now? You want to bet careers?
We're going to go the whole. Well,
I told you I would bet Edwards versus RJ Barrett, and you wouldn't bet.
Who's on what? On actual, you want stats? You want what do you want? I'll take RJ 100 out of 100 times on that.
5 years from now, we look and say who's having a better career.
Okay, so go ahead and put that down on wax somewhere. You're gonna be paying me something because I can tell you that now. Watched RJ Barrett the first 2 games. RJ started a little squeaky, a little shaky in the first quarter of the first game. The last 7 quarters, he's been lights out, getting to the rim. Jump shots actually been falling. They snubbed him. He said he had that thing posted up on the wall that didn't make the rookie team. They didn't put me on either one of the rookie teams, even though I was top 5 in like 5 statistical rookie categories. RJ is going to be just fine. RJ wants to play basketball. RJ didn't want to go run track or play football or something.
I know. Say it 7 more times.
I'm going to keep saying it because
that's important.
It's very important. You coach
skill is important too.
No. Let me tell you right now.
Being better than the guy in front of you is important.
Not if they don't give a fuck about their talent. I'll take somebody that wants to try.
I think you're overestimating that, though. You heard one story. You heard one story where he said football was his favorite sport, and you translate that as he doesn't give a fuck about playing basketball. It was a competitor. It was a direct quote. He's a competitor, or he wouldn't have made the number 1 pick in the NBA draft.
That they pick people in the NBA off of it's not production. It's off of what of a projection, what they think they can make you. And before he said that, I don't want to play. Basketball wasn't my first love. I wanted to play football. I really don't love basketball. I said I think that he loafed up and down the court before that. This was the period on the sentence back in like January before COVID even hit. I'm telling you, they keep talking about this kid. He can jump through the roof, that and the other thing, but he doesn't look like he wants to play. And Georgia, with the number 1 player in the draft, wasn't going to make even the SEC tournament. They would have had to run through. They weren't going to make the SEC tournament. That's what I'm saying. They would have had to run through the SEC to make the actual tournament.
Yeah,
with the best player on the draft. They were under 500.
Yeah, they'd actually have to win the SEC tournament to make it to the tournament. And one of the things that we said pre-draft is that there really is no consensus number one player. So Anthony Edwards going number one doesn't mean that everybody thinks he's the number one player. It means that Minnesota thought it was the best basketball fit.
An Iverson, a Shaq year.
Also,
Simmons,
Vegas,
Simmons consensus number one.
Exactly. Also, Vegas also agreed with us because, like, according to OddsShark, in terms of the odds for Rookie of the Year, it's LaMelo, Obi, then Anthony Edwards. So I don't recall. It's been a very long time that somebody who wasn't the first overall pick in the preseason wasn't favored to be Rookie of the Year. And this guy's third. Right off rip. Hasn't played yet.
And that's going to drop. That's going to drop as it goes. As it moved further in the season, Wiseman's going to go above him.
Yeah, but remember,
Halliburton's going to get more. Halliburton's getting a lot of burn already. He's going to move above him.
But remember, before Fultz played a game, people already were high on the Sixers because the tank was working. They were like, oh, if this guy's any good, they'll take off. And he was early favored before you saw him on the court, obviously.
He was never a favorite for Rookie of the Year. He was more of like a defensive player.
Before you saw him on the court, he was favored for Rookie of the Year.
The other thing is too, right?
No, he wasn't. Fultz wasn't. Definitely wasn't.
The other thing with your boy Edwards is,
all right, can we move on?
Let me finish my point first, right? Is it okay if I finish my point?
You're gonna hate on the kid.
So I'm gonna hate on this kid because he's giving me reasons to hate. If he went to Duke, I'm hating on him because he went to Duke. This kid, I have no problem with any basketball player that's ever gone to the University of Georgia. I'm hating on this kid because he doesn't want to play basketball. He's only there because he's good at it, and he has physical talent for it.
You think that, though. That's nothing that he said.
That's exactly what he said. It's exactly what he said. His exact words were,
he said football was my favorite sport, which a lot of other basketball players have
said. The words out of his mouth was, I didn't want to play basketball. He didn't say I loved football more. He said I didn't want to play basketball. Those are the exact words. I didn't want to play basketball. He just happened to be able to jump and dunk, and he's 6'8" or whatever, 6'7" at a 2-3. So he had to play. The last thing I'll say about him is he landed in a bad spot. If he had landed somewhere where he had a veteran that would have gotten into his ass made him work hard, then maybe he gets pushed to get to where he's supposed to. But he's with a already confirmed bitch in Karl Anthony Towns.
Yeah. Didn't Jimmy Butler complain about it?
Ran him out of town, and he's on there. You know who the second best player on that team is?
Ricky Rubio.
Snitch. No, Captain Snitch, D'Angelo. So his two leaders.
What about Ricky Rubio?
His two leaders. Man, nobody cares nothing about Ricky Rubio other than he has a nice man bun. The two leaders on that team are both soft, and they're going to hold Edwards back when you add in his fact that he doesn't love the game. Speaking of people that do love the game but are having a little bit of difficulty here, and you're not going to be happy about this one. What's up with Jalen Hurts? Is his time in Philadelphia over?
Over? His time in Philadelphia has just begun.
There's people saying that
I think he means Wentz.
Wentz, I'm sorry. My apologies. Wentz. Carson Wentz. Is his career over in Philadelphia? There's rumors that San Francisco's looking at him. A lot of other teams are looking for him. You seem to be one of the last few holdouts that aren't blaming him for he's had really.
Because I actually know a little bit of football and I know what I'm looking at. And
you're not the only one that knows a little bit about football.
What was going on with Carson Wentz was not Carson Wentz's fault. Any quarterback behind that offensive line would do poorly.
No, I mean, I'm in like a 50-50 camp because I 100% agree with Getz. They do not help him. But the numbers are there. He leads the league in off-target throws, most interceptions, which obviously that's not all 100% on him. But the one thing that I've never understood, and it's happening again, and maybe you as a Philly fan can enlighten me on this. The team, it's like when Carson Wentz plays, they expect him to do everything. But when Nick Foles plays, or now when Jalen Hurts plays, the defense plays better. The offensive line can block again. They actually run the offense like Peterson is. So is that a Wentz leadership? Because it's not talent with Wentz, man. But there's, for some reason, now happening again, that the team always plays better when he's not there. And I have no idea why.
I watch every single snap of every single Eagles game. It's not Wentz's fault. I would be really pissed if they trade him, which it kind of looks like the momentum is moving that way, especially if Jalen Hurts comes in and plays lights out for the rest of the season. Anybody who actually watched that game the other day, Jalen Hurts didn't play incredible. He had like 150 passing yards. The team ran for 250 yards. All of a sudden, the offensive line wants to play all of a sudden, and then they start giving the ball to fucking Miles Sanders,
Yep.
who had all of about 4 or 5 carries the 2 weeks before that, forced me to sit him in my fantasy playoff game, you motherfucker.
And
So does Peterson call a better game for another quarterback? It just doesn't make any sense.
Now, did he lose the locker room now? Is that the other question?
Well, Miles Sanders even said in one of the interviews that Jalen Hurts gave us a spark, and some other guys have said that. The one thing I'm glad about is Fletcher Cox came out and said that it had nothing to do with Wentz's leadership. Wentz is the guy, this and that, blah, blah, blah. So there's some dudes that are inside the locker room and leaders that are backing Wentz, which I like. It would be nice to see fucking Doug Peterson come out and say something to that effect of like, yeah, the guy really hasn't had much help. The offensive line.
No, is Peterson fighting for his own job right now?
Yeah, that's where I was going.
Yes.
Every time Peterson
is absolutely fighting for his job.
Because every time Peterson gets asked, it's like he can't say what he wants to say because
my hair is crazy right now.
Ownership or the GM is telling him to say something different. It's a very odd situation. And on that subject, if the Eagles are looking to get rid of him, I would want the Jets to sign that guy in a heartbeat. But in that same topic, I want you guys' opinion on something. I'm gonna give my interpretation of this quote. And obviously, people could think it's Jets bias, but then I want your interpretation after. So when Bill Cowher was interviewed by Rich Cimini on ESPN, this was his exact quote, right? He says, "I have no interest in coaching. I have too much respect for the coaching profession to talk about a job that isn't open. From that perspective, any job that is open, I have no interest in coaching." So the first line, I have no interest in coaching, I think that's bullshit because coaches want to coach, right?
Complete bullshit.
And he wouldn't be working for CBS if he didn't have the itch to still be around the game, right?
And Boomer Esiason, who's with him every single week, says the guy talks about coaching all the time.
Yeah.
It is what he is a coach.
The fact that he comes out and says, I wouldn't talk about an open job. I have no interest in coaching. That's just him, and I have respect for Cowher for doing that. Yeah. He's respecting Gase's job because Gase is still employed there.
Yeah.
And it's a coaching fraternity thing.
If they fire Gase and they offer Bill Cowher a shit ton of money, because these guys in TV, man, they make crazy money. I think Romo's making like $10 million a year at this point.
Yeah, CBS, right below Belichick is what's going to cost probably.
I can only imagine how much Cowher is making. But I already told you guys who the next Jets coach is going to be. It's going to be the mullet.
But yeah, so let me finish the quote though. So then he says, obviously, I have too much respect for the coaching profession, right? And then he says, from that perspective, any job that is open, I have no interest in coaching, which tells me that the current jobs that have interim guys he doesn't want. So if there's a job he wants, it's a job that's currently not open. Now, it doesn't have to mean the Jets. Steelers fans probably think it's the Steelers too. You'd probably wait for Tomlin to get fired. But what I interpret from this, and
Tomlin would never get fired.
Of course, I know he's not.
I know he's not fire coaches.
Exactly. But what I'm saying is, from what I interpret from this quote, and you tell me, is that the only job he's interested in is not open right now.
No, he's doing exactly what Get says. He's just respecting the fraternity of coaches and not going to undermine anybody that's still actually working. From the jobs that are open.
The last thing that they want to do is give somebody the impression that they want the job, and then the guy gets fired because of them.
Now, of the 3 jobs that are available right now, I mean, Atlanta's one, Houston's the other. We have the Jets. Who else? Is that the only 3 coaches that have been fired so far?
It's still technically not open. The Jets is not open.
We know
Detroit.
We know Gates is getting fired. And Detroit's the other one. So you got 3 out of the 4 teams that kind of have quarterbacks. I mean, Matt Ryan's the kind of maybe on the way out.
And I think Anthony Lynn's going to get fired from the Chargers. He's gone.
Anthony Lynn shouldn't get fired, though. They lost a bunch of close games with a rookie quarterback, and their best pass rusher got hurt right away. Anthony Lynn, he's got a little string of bad luck. He shouldn't get fired.
That's a good job, man.
Yeah, he's not a bad coach.
Number 1, you're living in San Diego. Number 2, you got a talented young team.
Anymore.
You got a good young quarterback.
Yeah, they moved to LA.
Yeah, they moved to LA.
Well, he can live in San Diego if he wants. But still, Southern California, bomb-ass stadium. You got an owner that'll do whatever you want. That's a good job.
That is a good job, and I don't think they're going to fire Anthony Lynn right away. So if you look, you look just below the surface at their record. It's been a bunch of close games, and Herbert's impressed so far. his number one running back, Eckler, was gone for 8 weeks with a torn hamstring. They've had a lot of injuries.
Yep. Mike Williams gets hurt every week.
Yeah,
Mike Williams stays hurt.
And the defense is missing like their honey badger game changer and Derwin James.
Yeah,
in the secondary,
their two best players, Derwin James and Bosa, on defense aren't there. So Anthony Lynn shouldn't get fired. That's not fully his fault.
That's what I'm reading. That Anthony.
So hold up. If we're talking about injuries should matter for Anthony Lynn, Carson Wentz all year has been without his All-Pro right tackle.
Okay.
The best guard in the league in Brooks, so another All-Pro right guard. The first-round draft pick, Dillard, that got drafted to play left tackle, has been out all year. So you're missing 3 starters on the offensive line, and then they have a number of injuries to the backup dudes that came in to replace those guys. So he's been playing with 3rd and 4th string offensive linemen all year.
It's not just this year, though. Other than that one run that he had when he was an MVP
this is the
candidate.
year. He played great last year with a fucking practice squad lineup and receivers that nobody's ever heard of, and he won the division. That was last year, 1 year ago.
Yeah, I agree.
They look like they're trying to run him out of there. So for whatever reason, Philly soured on.
Well, it's typical. It's typical Philadelphia fans that have no clue what they're fucking looking at. They just want to complain about everything and run guys out of town. They ran Aguilar out of town. The guy's balling. They ran Sidney Jones and Rasul Douglas.
Aguilar.
Yeah, I hated Aguilar, and I still do. I'm amazed how he can catch the ball this year. But when the game's on the line and they throw him a fucking ball that could win the game, he still drops it. Philly fans
throw the rugs on the next throw. But
they ran Sidney Jones out of town. They ran Rasul Douglas out of town. Those guys are both starting and playing well on different teams right now, and we have no corners.
Now, they've also moved. They went at this time. You still got a chance at the division this year because the NFC East is putrid.
Absolutely.
So the last 3 games of the year are Arizona, Dallas, and Washington. Those are 3 very winnable games. Arizona, all the luster has gone off of them.
I think you only need to win 2.
Good.
Yeah, but Washington's gonna have to play Dwayne Haskins the rest of the season because I think they're both out. So I
Alex
think Washington is out. Yeah, and so is Kyle Allen. So they're gonna have to play Haskins. That means 3 straight losses for Washington. Then you have the Giants. I think they're fraud from the beginning. They have another 3 straight losses because I saw their games. I can't remember right now. If you look it up, look at the Giants' last 3 games. So the division's gonna come down to because I think the Eagles can win 2 of the next 3.
I don't want to win the division.
If they win out, I think you will.
I understand why you wouldn't want to win the division. If you win the division, it's Jalen Hurts' job. It's Jalen Hurts' job.
I think you guys will win Week 17 against Washington and win the division.
So there's one more year.
But if we win the division, we get in the playoffs and we get smoked in the first game anyway. So why win the division? I'm an old school Eagles head. For years, we were bad, and I used to root for a better draft pick. So, hey, let's get the tank job up. Let's lose the rest of the games and get a quality draft pick.
Well, the last team that made the playoffs that went under 500, they won the first game.
That ain't gonna be us, bro.
I think they said it was Seattle. I saw it on ESPN.
Oh, it was Seattle against the Saints. That's the beast mode run.
Yeah. I think that team was 7-9.
That registered on the Richter scale.
Yeah. So
now, are you on board? But all right. So my coach already got fired. Dan Quinn. His name left my brain. That's how much we wanted him out. Dan Quinn already got fired. Adam Gase is on the way out. Do you want Doug Peterson gone? A couple of years off.
I'm kind of got mixed feelings about it because number one, I was an Eagles fan for 40 years. We couldn't get a title. All these goddamn Dallas fans talking about, oh, where's your rings? Where's your rings? Doug Peterson's the one that got us the ring. So I'm not so quick to run that guy out of town. But he's kind of failing Wentz. Everything that I'm seeing, all of a sudden fucking Jalen Hurts comes in. Now we're running RPOs. Now they're running the ball with Miles Sanders, who was there the whole fucking time, and they wouldn't give him the ball.
Well, they're doing in Philly kind of what they're doing in Tampa, but Tampa just got better personnel where they're not adjusting to the quarterback at all. They're just, hey, listen, these are our plays. You're going to have to run them. They're still they're trying to air the ball out down the field with an old Tom Brady. They're not really adjusting to it. They're making plays still because Godwin and Evans and even Scotty Miller are good enough receivers to actually make some plays.
Antonio Brown can't make no plays.
Well, he had a decent game a couple weeks ago. He had 6 or 7 receptions, but they're not coaching to the strength of their team. They're just like, here, this is the play I think will run now. Go ahead and run it now.
But
well, you know who their offense coordinator is?
Byron Leftwich.
Marty Morningweg. Oh, you're talking about Tampa.
Yeah.
Tampa is Byron Leftwich.
Yeah. No, but
Quick story about Byron Leftwich, right? So Byron Leftwich hurt his leg. You get to remember this for sure when he was still at Marshall. And he hurt his leg, and the offensive linemen were carrying him down the field.
Yeah.
So they were talking about this on the radio the other day. I was actually on Bomani Jones's podcast. If his legs were healthy, they might have run out of time on the clock because Byron Leftwich was one of the slowest human beings on the face of the earth. They actually made it down the field faster to clock the ball after every play with the lineman carrying him than he would have been, running up to the play. He's the slowest quarterback in the history. He's so friggin' slow, and because he's black, they try to make him run.
Also had the longest windup I've ever seen in a quarterback.
Full on, yeah.
He looked like he was throwing a javelin.
Hey, but
he doesn't seem to be that bad of an OC, though. He seems to be doing all right.
One more thing, though, about
Can't get anything out of Antonio Brown.
Yeah, but one more thing, and I'll get to the Byron Leftwich thing too. But with Wentz, do you buy any stock in those reports? Because there's people who say that Wentz just straight up ignores Peterson's play call at times to just calls his own thing. Could that have something to do with it?
I haven't really seen that. And again, I watch every single snap of every single game. I haven't seen him really at the line just fucking calling his own plays. I definitely haven't seen him coming to the sideline and arguing with Peterson. And if he's just like, calling his own plays and saying, fuck this guy, and then Peterson's letting him do whatever he wants to do on the sideline, then yeah, definitely Peterson needs to go. Because you can't be a bitch like that and just let the fucking quarterback run all over you.
I don't think that's happening, though.
If that's the case, he should have pulled him a long time ago.
Yeah. See, I just there's people that are saying it. I don't know if it's true.
That's not really what I'm seeing.
Mm-hmm. Somebody start throwing some batteries or something in Philly. Get the
I will say that. Yeah, seriously. I will say this. I got some quick analysis. Maybe a hot take for you. Watching that game last night with the Ravens, great game, but
super entertaining.
I'm going to go as far as to say that the Baltimore Ravens will never win a Super Bowl as currently constructed.
Now, you got to go deeper into what's currently constructed. You talking about the quarterback? You talking about the wide receivers?
Well, I'm talking about Lamar Jackson at quarterback.
Yeah,
that guy's crazy exciting. He's fun to watch, but he's running around. He's even that one long pass that he had last night. He was basically running like a quarterback sweep. And once the corner and the safety came up, then he just threw it over the top of him. He's not sitting in the pocket dissecting defenses. If they fall behind, he's definitely not coming back, which is what happened in the playoff game last year. And once you get in the playoffs, man, you're playing teams that are the best of the best, usually with really good defenses. And for him to be able to do that 3 times in a row in the playoffs would be a fucking miracle. It's astronomical, the odds of him actually being able to win a Super Bowl. There's no way.
Yeah, Vegas had them at 15-1 to start the season, and I told both of you many times that the Steelers are going to win that division.
They still might not win that division, though. Steelers are falling off. I'm not sure.
The Browns just lost again. The Browns
I'm not.
One more time.
You didn't watch Enrique's AFC South preview?
North.
AFC North. You get your divisions
Whatever
right.
it is.
I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure that I agree with you on the Lamar Jackson. I think what they're doing is exactly what Peterson's not. They're coaching to his strengths right now. Remember, he's only 23, 24 years old. He's still a very young quarterback. And when he gets outside of the pocket like that, and he's out on the edges, the defense is terrified because he can pull the ball down and go 40 yards. Hold on a second. The
reason I said it is because in the playoffs, he would have to do that to 3 good teams in a row.
I get that, but there's going
to be good defenses. There's going to be good coaching that will bottle up his running game, and then he won't be able to sit in the pocket and dissect them and come back. A team like Kansas City that'll hang 40, 50 points on them, he ain't going to be able to beat them.
Nobody's hanging with Kansas City, though. That's the only – because they score too fast. Even their tight end could take the ball 70 yards. I mean, Kelsey gets up the field. Mecole Hardman's a 4-2 guy. Tyreek Hill's the fastest human on earth. They can get down. They can get down the field.
Agreed.
Kelsey may actually lead the entire league in receiving. He's leading the league right now in receiving as a tight end. It's crazy.
You know who the best?
Yeah, Tony Gonzalez was bugging out about it the other day.
Yeah, you know who the best receiver
Travis Kelce's leading the whole
on
league
the Ravens
receiving yards.
Go ahead and throw out the number 1 receiver on the Ravens.
Hollywood Brown.
Yeah,
he's on the depth chart. Their number 1 receiver is actually the tight end, Mark Andrews. Yeah, and Hollywood Brown's 5'5" or whatever. He's tiny. They need to get Lamar somebody on the outside he can throw the ball to.
So yeah, I agree with you, Getz, because I also watched every big game he had at Louisville, and he's just never been accurate enough. And I don't believe somebody who throws 50% can get to 65. Could he get to 55, 57? Sure. but you just don't make that.
And he has
large
like
of
a
leap.
weird sidearm motion that's not really like repeatable, as they say about pitchers.
Mhm.
He's never going to be that accurate, and he's never really going to get better.
But what I will give him credit for, though, is that after that touchdown, when they scored that field goal, those 3 straight completions to Mark Andrews were from the pocket, and they were pretty accurate throws. Pretty accurate throws. When he came back after the injury, I think he had like half of his completions for the entire game. Yeah, I think he had half of his completions for the entire game from just coming back there.
Now, that is something I will complain about him with. Why are you trying to hide the fact you had to take a shit? Everybody shits. There's a book that kids read that says everybody poops. He had to go take a shit.
He was running. They showed him on camera running to the locker room, but he supposedly had cramps.
Straight juking people. Yeah. You had to take a shit. There's nothing. You didn't get carried out on a wheelchair like Paul Pierce. You weren't crying on the bench like LeBron James when the air conditioner broke. You had to take a shit. It happens sometimes, especially.
And he came right back out. And you came right back out.
Especially on top of that, you're playing football. If your stomach's got the little gurgles and somebody lands on top of you, hey, that might get stuff moving a little bit. You had to take a shit. It's not a big deal, Lamar.
And they wear white pants.
And you're wearing white pants. Now, here's the other thing. Now, when he was running to the back having to take the shit, did he beat his 40 time that he had at the combine? I think it was somewhere in the area about 4.4. He probably kicked that into an extra gear because of those white pants.
For sure.
Quick side note here. I used to work with this chick who had her monthly friend come during a training session, but got up. At work, dude, got up, and there was a little droplet, if you will, on her chair. They nicknamed her Bloody Mary. The chick quit 2 weeks later. So,
man.
Yeah, exactly. Bullying is not all right, kids. All right, bullying is not, even if it's funny, bullying is not okay. But, yeah, Lamar, just come out, man. You have to take a shit. Everybody's had to do it. We've all had to take a shit at work. Sometimes it gets to the point where it's a little bit of an emergency. That juke move that he did around that guy to get into
he sidestepped the door and shit.
Yeah, he did everything except
I was like, wait a minute. I was like, cramps. He's running back to the locker room.
So, and listen, the 2 quarterbacks that played last night.
If you're cramping up, the last thing you're doing is running.
The 2 quarterbacks last night. So you're saying that Lamar Jackson will not win a Super Bowl. If you are money out the window, you don't have to worry about a contract or anything. Are you starting a franchise with Baker Mayfield or with Lamar Jackson?
Baker Mayfield. He's looked all right, man, especially like the last 5-6 weeks. He's getting better. They have a monster fucking running game. They have
monster
receivers.
O-line.
They have receivers. They have O-line.
But all those things have –
they got a good defense, too.
So he's playing like he should be, finally.
Behind that line.
Yeah.
So behind
he was the number 1 pick in the draft, so he should be good.
And Lamar should have been drafted higher than he was. But, that's another thing.
Absolutely.
There are quite a few teams. If Chicago has Lamar on that team, they're running away with the ball. Maybe not running away because Green Bay's up there, but they would have won that division at least a couple of times over the last couple of years with Trubisky. So Lamar should have gone earlier for sure. But that same year, what was it? It was
Baker 1, Darnold 3,
Josh Allen
8, the guy backing up Brady at 10.
Don't forget about Rosen.
Chosen Rosen at 10, and then
he's another. Oh, he's done, man. I feel bad for that guy,
dude. Fuck him.
He's in a good.
He stood up at the draft and said, "These 9 teams that passed on me, I'm pissed. I'm going to make them regret that." Yeah, fuck you. You suck.
Well, he's made 2 teams. He's made 2 teams regret picking him up. Arizona regrets drafting him, and Miami regrets signing him. So he's only got another 30 teams.
They traded assets for him. They traded picks for Josh Rosen.
Yeah, for sure, because they're done.
Yeah, the 10th overall pick. They thought he'd be able to do something with him. I feel bad for Rosen.
But you would think Brady probably has 1 more year left. So Josh Rosen sits behind Brady, gets coached by Bruce Arians. I don't think the Bucs are going to be dumb enough to let Godwin go. So you're still going to have Godwin and Evans. He's going to have a much better O-line than he's ever had when he does start for Tampa. So he'll actually be given a shot.
He's never started for Tampa. Josh Rosen's done being.
You want to hear something that's nuts? They said Godwin had 14 pins removed from his hand on Tuesday.
Yep.
And was gonna practice on Friday.
He never missed a game. His hands been messed up.
As someone that's had a pin in his hand, there's no fucking way. Once they remove that bitch, I would practice 3 days later. No way. Especially when you got to catch the ball.
You know who else wouldn't practice? Edwards.
Anthony Edwards.
Love the game. Exactly.
Maybe football he would.
You're not playing with pins in your hand unless you love the game.
And Godwin's nasty after the catch too, man.
That offense is good. Fournette was a healthy scratch last week. That's how how loaded that team is.
They didn't even play him?
No, he was a coach's decision, no play.
Wow. I think one of the biggest problems too is
you want to talk about somebody who doesn't love the game.
Yeah. The biggest problem I see with Tampa is that they can't feature their best weapons to also go to Brady's strengths. To be at Brady's strengths, you got to play Gronk and Bray. I think O.J. Howard got hurt, but you got to be playing 2-3 tight end sets, quick passes, a lot of motions, which they don't do that. Bruce Arians just wants to do like an air raid offense, basically, like he did with Jameis, but he's not the same quarterback.
Yeah, you can't. Brady can't bomb the ball like that.
Brady doesn't have the arm.
Brady at his best, he has the slot receiver, the Welker, the Edelman.
Which Godwin's better than Edelman. Godwin can do everything Edelman can better.
But Godwin's hurt. But like the guy running the little choice route up the seam where you push the safety and then you basically make a play off his shoulders. If he's going to the inside, I'm going to the outside. If he's giving me outside leverage, I'm busting back to the inside. And Brady always had that connection with Edelman and Welker of being able to read the coverage at the same time and make the throw. That's why their offense was so good.
Yeah, and
the one thing I don't understand is
80 catches a year.
Yeah, if he loves Antonio Brown so much, like they should be doing that. They should have him in the slot running that.
But Brown's probably fighting against that. I'm an up the field guy.
Antonio Brown wants to run deep. Antonio Brown wants to catch 50-yard bombs and
this guy can't cover me. He got me on a double move. Just put the ball out there. I'll go get it. That whole offense is wrong. They're trying to fit a round peg into a square hole.
Edelman, They have Mike Evans and they have Gronk, so they should be able to move the ball. Like they're doing something wrong. They're doing something wrong.
Out there. And Rojo's good.
And Ronald Jones is good, man. He's a good NFL back.
Absolutely. The funny thing is we've never thought of Tom Brady.
Did Fournette get hurt too, or is he still there?
No, he's still there. He was a healthy scratch last week. Ronald Jones took that job, and we've never thought of Tom Brady
shooting threes.
We've never thought of Tom Brady as a liability on offense, but he's finally gotten there. He's the age is usually it's a swift cliff for these. They fall over pretty quickly. We're seeing it with Breeze falling off the cliff now. But Breeze is never going to be healthy again. And we're seeing that with your boy here, Brady. What happened? Let's see what.
Did you see they were talking to Sean Payton? And he was basically talking about next year as if next year is going to be Taysom Hill or Jameis. Basically saying like this is it for Drew Brees. Like whether he wants to play or not, he's out of here. He's done.
Brees will probably pick up a clipboard somewhere and be a good coach for somebody, but his body can't do it anymore. He can't throw further than an 8-yard hitch.
When somebody just lands on you, when somebody just lands on you and your ribs collapse, you're done.
And the defensive tackle,
your bones are too brittle.
The defensive tackle from the Niners, it was a rookie. It wasn't Kinlaw. It was another defensive tackle rookie that they have. He actually twisted, and half of his shoulder hit the ground. So he didn't even drive all of his weight into Breeze. He would have broken Breeze in half if he had driven all of his weight, fully into him. That he actually turned it off to the side there. But he did hurt him. Now, speaking of somebody that hurt, I like that segue right there. Your boy, Jake Paul, or is it Logan Paul? I mixed the two of them up. Which one knocked out Nate?
It's Jake Paul.
Jake Paul.
They both fight, but it was Jake Paul that knocked out Nate.
Which apparently is racist.
No. Jamel Hill was a joke. She was on another podcast talking about that after. They were joking around with him on that. Which one is going to fight Mayweather? Is it the other one or is it the same one?
Jake Paul.
So it's the other one.
The one that fought Nate Robinson is Jake Paul. He's also fighting Floyd Mayweather.
He's also fighting Floyd Mayweather.
And has been calling out Conor McGregor.
Yes. Well, that's what I was trying to get to right now. So Dana White said that it's ridiculous that this kid's calling out McGregor, that he's he hasn't been in the fight game for long enough, that it's disrespectful, and that Dana White said if Jake Paul wants to come to the octagon, he'll put him in there with Amanda Nunes and she'll fuck him up. So how do you feel about that?
That was a joke. I don't want to disrespect women in any way, but if Jake Paul's knocking out dudes that played in the NBA, I'd hate to see what he would do to a woman.
But to quote Sage on an earlier podcast, the stars of the NBA can't fight; they have no hands. So if we're going on that, They didn't do field day where they're doing a 100-yard dash and they're doing a tug of war and a javelin toss or whatever. Some dudes just can't throw hands, and Nate seems to be one of them. So,
especially when they're under fire, because you can do a lot of things in the gym, but once you're getting live bullets flying at you, it's different. And Nate Robinson, as soon as because he got dropped twice before he got knocked out,
before he went to sleep,
and once he got up from getting dropped the second time, he pulled the zombie defense, which is basically putting your arms out in front of you and just walking forward, and he got cracked. But I'm here to tell you, Conor McGregor would destroy that kid.
As will Mayweather.
As will Mayweather.
He has no shot against Mayweather.
He won't be able to touch Mayweather.
Never.
Yeah, but
Mayweather
I'd rather
touch him at all.
Mayweather won't knock me out like Conor McGregor, though. Mayweather doesn't got that punching power. I'd rather fight Mayweather.
Mayweather got pillow hands, and he's not really an offensive fighter.
Yeah.
So that's an easier fight for him than McGregor, because McGregor
but he can make Jake Paul look stupid for however many rounds.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
With the kid swinging, missing wildly.
He'll dance around him. He'll dance around him.
Absolutely, but he's not going to get knocked out now. If he wanted to fight Pacquiao would have knocked him out.
Yeah,
this kid's biting off a lot more than he can chew.
Pacquiao would knock him out.
Yeah, if you're calling out NBA players, again to quote Sage, NBA players can't fight, but he's not even calling out the ones that possibly can fight. He's not calling out the Matt Barneses and the Steven Jacksons of the world. I'd like to see him in bare knuckle with Zebo out in the parking lot somewhere.
Yeah,
that's a real good fight.
I was just about to say the big ass puffy pillow gloves, the 16-ounce gloves in boxing, as compared to like the UFC 4-ounce. Basically, you're wearing like a sack of dimes on your hand.
Yeah, just to keep your knuckles from splitting. Absolutely,
big difference.
Absolutely, this kid's gonna get knocked out by somebody coming up. It's probably not gonna be Floyd, but he's gonna get knocked out.
I'll give him a little bit of respect because I saw a video of him rolling with a UFC middleweight, which is they're 185 pounds. Big difference than boxing a little, 130, 140-pound dude.
He's a big dude. He's jacked, too.
Yeah,
Jake Paul's pretty big.
And he trains a lot. So
I saw a video of him rolling with a UFC 185 contender, the guy Paulo Costa that just fought Adesanya, who's humongous for a 185. And Jake Paul was rolling around with him. They were doing a little bit of jiu-jitsu, a little bit of wrestling. And I'll give Jake Paul a little bit of respect because he did a lot better than I thought he was going to do. But if he tries to go in an octagon with McGregor, he's going to get destroyed. Conor McGregor has made UFC legends look silly.
Yeah.
14 seconds he knocked out.
He's an
he knocked out
actual
Jose
fighter.
Aldo in 14 seconds, and the guy hadn't lost a fight in like 10 years.
But Jake Paul also got knocked out by another YouTuber. KSI put him on the mat. So he
knocked him out? Are you sure about that?
He beat him. Look up if he actually knocked him out, but I know he beat him. KSI,
okay.
I think he knocked him out.
Conor McGregor will knock him out cold. Conor McGregor is a sniper. He's accurate. He's real analytic with his striking. He'll watch film on dudes, and you can see him change his style from fight to fight. Compared on who he's going against, Conor McGregor is a different level of MMA fighter. And Jake Paul don't want none of that.
I don't think that Jake Paul would beat any. Like, you could take a Rolodex and spin it and pick a name of a UFC fighter, and as long as they were somewhere in a reasonable weight class, he's gonna beat him. Like, you beat maybe a strawweight or whatever, the really light in the ass guys he might be able to beat, but any professional fighter is gonna take him out pretty easily.
Jake Paul is a businessman. He's got like 60 million followers on Instagram and YouTube and shit like that. He knows that Conor McGregor is the biggest pay-per-view draw by far. So he's just trying to make money. He's just trying to make money.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Promotional master. I know I'm not hating on him by trying to make the money. I'm just saying
my question is, as much money as they made on that Tyson Roy Jones card, did he throw Nate Robinson a little bit extra and be like, yo, take the dive?
Absolutely not.
No.
Absolutely not. And as the professional athletes, even if they can't throw hands, they still got egos. And Nate wasn't taking a dive for $600K. There's no way. Even if he tossed him $1 million on the side.
Supposedly they made like $20 million.
Well, no,
Something
not
like
them.
that.
Not them. The Tyson and Jones made like 20 apiece because they were a part of the actual distribution part of the promotion. The other two were just on the fight card. So they made $600K apiece. There's no way that Nate took a dive And if he did, he's regretting it now because my man's it's still the roasting has not calmed down on Twitter, on Instagram.
Bro, I actually like Nate. I'm a fan of Nate Robinson. I've been throwing Nate memes like crazy on my fucking Facebook and shit.
It has not calmed down in any way, shape, or form. So if Nate
The
took
funniest
the dive,
one, I like the one that you sent me actually with
which one?
With Roy and Tyson in the ring, and you can see Nate
He's
still
in the
laying
back?
there. He's still laying there on the mat.
The fight's already over. His fight's already done, and he's still on the mat.
Yeah.
Out cold. No, and Jake Paul's taking it to another level. He's doing YouTube videos clowning Nate. Like there was
really?
there's one where he walked into his apartment and all his friends were supposed to be hanging out, and they're all in the Nate position in different positions of the house, out cold on the floor. He's like, "Yo, must have been knockout gas. Yeah, must have been knockout gas or something in here." He's got. That's what I almost. I so don't want to root for Floyd, but I want this kid to get knocked back down a peg because he seems to be getting a little bit cocky because he took out a basketball player that he's 5 or 6 inches taller than.
Well, the thing is, Floyd should have been corner like we said he should have, and he probably would have been a better fighter.
Let him fight Michael B. Jordan.
Floyd don't knock out anybody.
That's what I'm saying. That's a good deal for him. He's going to make a lot more money fighting Floyd, and he's not going to get knocked out. Why the hell are you going to fight McGregor and get your head taken off?
I'm actually amazed that Floyd agreed to that. You're talking about now. I've never been a Floyd Mayweather fan.
We lost your video. There you go.
I've never been a Floyd Mayweather fan. I've always thought that he ducked the really good competition and basically like cherry picked his fights. And I always thought if you put him back in the middleweight era of, Sugar Ray Leonard and Hagler and Hearns, that he would have got destroyed because he wasn't a good offensive fighter. And he's never really shown that he has that much heart. The one fight against Cotto where he was getting beat up a little bit, he was in the corner crying and complaining to the refs.
Yeah, but that's never going to happen in this fight here. He knows this kid can't touch him.
So that's what I'm saying. I've never liked Floyd Mayweather, but Floyd Mayweather will dance around this cat and make him look stupid. And I'm actually kind of surprised that Floyd Mayweather is at that point in his life where, like, dude, you were making 100 on that McGregor fight. He made at least 100, 150 million.
But this fight will be.
They gave McGregor 100 million just for showing up.
Yeah, this will be a money team
Floyd
production
at that point.
Yeah, he's gonna get 50%. He's getting
this is a money team, full money team production. So he's gonna get all of the promotional rights. He's gonna make 100, 150, 200 million off of this because they had it was what $50 a pay-per-view or whatever to see the last fight, and they had $1.5 million of US pay-per-view.
Well, this one supposedly it's tiered. Like if you buy it right now, you can get it for $25, and then they only have 1 million of those. Once those are sold out, it goes to like $35, $45, up. So there'll be people the night of the fight spending $66, $70 on that.
I would think the majority of people, because people probably saying, "Oh, I don't want to watch that," but when it gets closer, like I got nothing else to watch.
Everybody's gonna watch it.
Yeah,
well, it was an actual knockout in his last fight. Like I have no interest in the Tyson Holyfield fight. I have zero interest. I don't want to see old people fight anymore.
Are they going to fight?
That's the next one that's coming up here. Holyfield's calling him out, saying, "Oh, yeah, that you went to Roy Jones, smaller man, come to somebody that's in your own weight class." And I don't want to see these two because if they actually let them fight, one of them's going to die in the ring. And if at the current rules, it's boring. I'd rather they're like rock'em sock'em robots or whatever, just walking around the ring, hugging on each other a little bit. I have no interest whatsoever to see. Is boxing dying? That's the other question that we're talking about now.
Yes.
Yeah, these fights make more money than boxing. Yeah, that's why boxing is dead, because these guys can still make more money than actual professional boxers.
Floyd Mayweather fighting a YouTube guy is going to get more buys than Lomachenko and whoever he just fought, which was a great fucking fight.
The last 3 fights that Floyd Mayweather's had, well, one is on the docket for Jake Paul. The one before that, he fought some Japanese guy in like a ballroom in Japan for like 30 million or something. Just to knock out some guy. Right? Yeah, he knocked out the kid in like the second round and he tore with him in the first. And the one before that was McGregor. Floyd Mayweather's no longer a boxer. Floyd Mayweather is like he's like a WWF star that's not in the WWF. That's only what's happening.
Official Crackbacks position. Floyd Mayweather's a punk. Because if you were really the best boxer that ever lived, like you say you are, you would fight Canelo now. Yeah. You would fight Canelo now when he's thoroughly beaten Triple G, the best competition in his weight class on earth right now.
He should have fought
Thoroughly
Triple
beat
G
him.
3 years ago.
Canelo's the man right now. Canelo's at your weight class. He's the best fighter in the world. So
But
Floyd
he said he'll
Mayweather,
never fight him because
if you
Canelo's
really
on the steroid meat.
bullshit. That's what he said about Pacquiao. That's what he says
Yeah,
about.
that's why he didn't fight Pacquiao.
That's the
exactly.
company line. I'm not going to fight him because he's on steroids. Yeah, okay.
Steroid meat.
It's AK.
He
I'm
fought-
not going to fight him. It's too good.
He fought Canelo when he was like 20, 21 years old and barely had any experience. That's when he fought Canelo.
Yeah, that was a long. Wow, man, I was thinking about that. Was like 10 years ago. That was a long time ago. Canelo
Yeah.
was a little wet behind the
Why
ears,
not
kid,
fight Canelo now? If you
Because he
fight
would
him
get
back
knocked out.
then,
because he would get knocked out. He won't even fight Pacquiao.
well, he would
again right
he
now.
would definitely lose.
Oh yeah, he wouldn't even fight Pacquiao again now.
He wouldn't fight Pacquiao again right now, especially since he hasn't fought an actual
Pac-Man,
fighter in a
baby.
number of years.
I love
He
Pacquiao.
He ducked Pacquiao for years and waited till
Oh, yeah.
Pacquiao was past his prime in order to fight him.
And I already got knocked out.
100%.
And yeah, waited till the other dude knocked him out cold, and then was like, okay, now I'll fight him.
You're 100% correct. I'm with you on that. That Floyd Mayweather is an absolute bitch. He handpicked all the way through. With that being said, though, Jake Paul's not gonna be able to touch him. But anyway, we're at an hour right now. Let's go ahead and knock this out. I'm gonna watch the end of the Sixers game, and the Warriors are coming up. In
Sixers still up. Korkmaz. Oh,
We're getting ready to see some James Wiseman coming on the screen here in the NBA in a little bit. I'm very, very, very excited about the NBA starting up on the 23rd of December. My Knicks will be 30 wins plus. See, I'm not saying
Knicks-
I'm not going nuts. We're going to
Knicks,
playoffs.
are the Knicks playing on Christmas Day?
No,
Not
23rd.
anymore.
Not
Not
anymore.
anymore. They took that away from us already.
Not anymore.
Oh, that's bullshit.
We still get Martin Luther King Day, but that's about it. And on that note, Crackbacks, holla at your boy. We'll see you next week.
Peace.